Hello, I'm Dane Fletcher, Youth Ministries Director of the Jamaica Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, and we're here discussing some of the exciting activities concerning Global Youth Day, where our youth in Jamaica connect with young people all across the world to demonstrate God's love with others in the community. For today, we're talking with young people from Northeast Jamaica Conference. I want you to just share with others a little bit about yourself. Well, I know who you are, but it would be good for you to tell them a little bit about yourself. I don't know if we should be true to the laws of chivalry and allow ladies to go before gentlemen.
Okay, so my name is Shaniel Gordon. I'm from the Richmond Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is in the Northeast Jamaica Conference, St. Mary to be specific. And I'm a youth who enjoys going out and giving and sharing the word of God with anyone who I can find and doing other stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shaniel.
Right, so I'm Mario Ormsby. I'm from the Highgate Seventh-day Adventist Church. I currently serve on the youth exec of the conference. I am a young person who loves the Lord and who loves to tell others about God and just all around engage in youth ministry.
Thank you very much, Shaniel and Mario. And by the way, Pastor D, I know you'll talk about yourself, but I don't want the folk from Portland to stone you, because you brought two persons from St. Mary. But that's all right. Go ahead.
that is certainly fine. I am Raymond Douglas. I am the Youth and Communications Director for the conference, and I'm also in the Hope Bay District. I love working with young people. I have spent a lifetime working with young people, and it's something that keeps me young.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. So yes, we are here to focus on Global Youth Day. We want to know more about what you did for last year and how it is that you got persons to be involved. So firstly, you can share what are some of the activities that you did for last year. And remember, last year we showed up in the cities.
Yes, correct.
Right, so last year, as a district, the Highgate district of churches, we went to Carrimall. That's another community in our district where we interacted with the community members. We issued tracts and we had worship. There was a shop by the wayside with some gentlemen just sitting there, and we stopped, and they got involved in the worship process also.
Yeah, they were also singing with
singing
us.
and clapping and suggesting songs and stuff to be a part of.
So before we hear from others, while you showed up in the cities, others decided to show up with you.
Yes, exactly.
Well, last year it was interesting to see how the young people came out. Not just young people, but all our members came out right across the conference. We don't have a lot of cities in Northeast, but in the towns and in the villages, they came out and they impacted their local areas, and it was a breath of fresh air to see individuals coming out and doing the care packages and distributing books. Some people were singing, some people had street meetings, and the various engagements right across. It was just something awesome. It was awesome, And it is something that I think we enjoy. It's a breath of fresh air, especially, coming out of the four walls of the church on a Sabbath and going into the community and interfacing with the community members. I think it's something that,
It's interesting. You spoke about the excitement that it brings, the breath of fresh air, to be in the community outside of the church on the Sabbath. Now I encourage you to consider how it is that you can have activities like these, not only on Global Youth Days, where young people, and not just young people, but members of the church community can go out and impact persons of the wider society.
Right.
Is it that you were together last year, Shaniel, in the same space? Because you spoke or you joined Mario. I don't know if Mario left out anything that you might want to share.
Well, yes, we're from the same district. In the different communities, they had different roads leading to different places. So there were groups of us that went into the different villages and the towns and stuff like that. And we gave out tracts as well. There was even this lady who was on her farm there with the cows, and she saw us coming and singing because we were walking and singing some hymns, you know, just to lift up the spirits. And the lady came from over the farm and asked us what we were doing, and we told her, and she said, okay, I want a book and whatever. So she was very interested to see what was happening, because I think people like to see what they would consider excitement, but it's also good when they can come and hear what we have to say to them.
Yes, and while we focused on showing up in the cities last year, I hope that from what you have shared, that others will observe that it is very critical for us to show up for persons. For when we show up, we may show up for somebody who may very well be waiting on you or waiting on us to show up for them. So continue to show up for persons in and around our communities. Now, while we look at what happened for last year, how was it to motivate young persons to participate in Global Youth Day? How challenging it was, or how exciting young people, or excited young people were at the time to participate in Global Youth Day? What are some of the strategies that you employed?
All right. Well, we worked through the federations last year to get the word out. Of course, we had our videos and our flyers to help people understand what it is that we wanted to accomplish for Global Youth Day. It was not very difficult to motivate and inspire, because, like I said before, it's as though they were waiting for the opportunity. And I remember last year, we had everybody turning up, from the little children, and even those, I mean, they were also excited about the Global Youth Day t-shirts. And even those who did not have Global Youth Day t-shirts, they came out in their Pathfinder and their adventure uniforms, and they came out and turned up and showed up in the cities, in the towns and the villages, and they impacted. And so when you have a set of young people who are just ready and rearing to go, it makes promoting this event a lot easier. And so we didn't have a lot of challenges, because I know the federations were encouraging folks, and they were giving the information about what needed to have been done, and people showed up. And I believe a lot of our towns and villages and a lot of our communities last year were impacted because they showed up in numbers, in droves. And as Chanel said, people were just looking and seeing the colors and seeing the uniform and was wondering what was happening, and it just drew people to the various events, and I think it made a very good impact.
All right, thank you for that. Now, I as we reflect on showing up, remember, we're not just showing up for the church, we are showing up for Jesus.
Correct.
And wherever Jesus is, there is amazing power. Jesus performs miracles. So it may serve you well to continue to show up for others, because you may never know the miracle that Jesus will bring forth through you showing up for him, for someone who is longing to experience his transformative power.
Right.
Yes, as we reflect too on Global Youth Day last year, I hear you, Pastor Douglas, saying that you never had a challenge, no challenge at all. So that means you had all the money that you needed to plan for your activities, to get all the resources that you have. Please, I want you to share some of the spoils with us here at the Jamaica Union Conference. So maybe we can share with others.
Well, let me remind you that the question was, did we have any challenge promoting? So we didn't have any challenges promoting. In terms of resources, resources are always in need. And there is always, especially as you look at community outreach, there's always need for more, right? And so we asked, and whatever we requested, we got, and we're grateful to our administrators and to other individuals who contributed. But having said that, there is always room for more. Yes. As you go through the communities, as you interact with individuals, you will recognize that the needs are great. They're great. And so this year we're doing a similar thing, but in terms of last year, I think we did fairly well. In terms of impacting the communities, in terms of distributing books, we distributed food packages last year. We also went into the communities and prayed with individuals. So it wasn't just financial resources. The human resources, as I said, turned up. We had a lot of individuals, and I think that made a difference. Right. And at some point, I'll tell you about the conference impact.
Yeah, but, thank you. Thank you very much for that. I did provoke you about the need for resources. Just in case anyone is looking on and is wondering how is it that they can contribute to the youth making a positive impact, always know that we welcome your support financially, even your expertise. We are glad to have others who are just willing to help our young people make a more impactful contribution to the wider society. Mm-hmm. And we're just about to take a break. And when we come back, we will talk about the buzzing activities for Global Youth Day 2025, a community transformed.
Global Youth Day is not a day to remain in the four walls of the church. It calls us to go into the community and to transform those communities for Jesus Christ. And so this year, our theme for Global Youth Day is a community transformed. I invite you to go out into the various communities across the length and breadth of Northeast Jamaica and transform them for Jesus Christ. Let us be the sermon. In the afternoon, I invite us to converge on Port Antonio Town, 3 p.m., where we are going to transform the Port Antonio community, and we're going to be the sermon and show them the love of Jesus Christ. We're going to be going to the Eveley Park and the Halls Avenue communities. We're going to be going to the infirmary. We're going to be going to the Drug Addiction Prevention Center. And we're going to be impacting and interacting with those residents. We're going to be going up to the hospital to impact and to take care packages for the patients that are there. We're also going to be having a blood drive. Yes, we want to collect blood. The blood you give today may save your life tomorrow. And so I invite us to come on out. Let's pray together. Let's pray with community members. Let us impact them for Jesus. Let us be the sermon and let us transform that community for Jesus Christ.
Welcome back. I'm Dane Fletcher, Youth Ministries Director of the Jamaica Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. And I'm here live and direct with Pastor Raymond Douglas, Youth Ministries Director of the Northeast Jamaica Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, with Shaniel Gordon and Mario Ormsby. We have been talking about Global Youth Day. We reflected on how they showed up in the cities, making a positive impact for Jesus. And now we are here to talk about Global Youth Day 2025, a community transformed. Firstly, tell me, what is it that came to your mind when you heard of the theme, a community transformed, for Global Youth Day 2025?
You know, when I first heard the theme, I started thinking about the community that needs to be transformed. I was looking at my own community, which I live. And I was wondering, what is it that I could do to make a difference there? And then I started looking at it at a wider spectrum. As a district, what can my district do to make a difference in the community?
You mean your pastoral district?
Pastoral district.
Okay.
What can we do to make a difference in our communities in which we dwell? We have 6 different districts, or 6 different communities, rather, in my pastoral district. And I'm saying, what can we do? Our young people within the Highgate district, they're so energetic, they're ready to go. What is it that we can do that we haven't been doing throughout the years? That's what came to mind.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mario.
Well, you know, for me, a community transformed is something that it takes great care and effort. As I look across the Northeast Jamaica Conference and you see the various communities and you understand the challenges, it can become mind-boggling sometimes to really look and see how am I really going to transform all these communities? But, you know, I remember that a journey of 1,000 steps, 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And so whatever little thing you can do or we can do in our little corner, let's begin to do the little impacts What may seem small to you today may turn out to be something very big tomorrow. And so I decided that, hey, I am going to just do the little I can and to encourage everybody, all my federations, all my churches, all the pastors, all the district reps to do a little thing. It may not be big, no, just start. And so we have been encouraging all our districts, all our district reps to just go out on Sabbath morning and just show up and make a difference, transform that community.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now, I realize that you have gone in the needs assessment mode. And as you have gone in needs assessment mode, I sense that you realize that this is an overwhelming task to see the community transformed. But just before I ask you, what does a community transformed looks like for you? I don't know if Shaniel wants to say what came to her mind when she heard of the theme.
Okay, so when I heard of the theme, as they said before, I'm echoing what they're saying. The needs, like there are a lot of things happening in Jamaica at this moment that are very questionable. And as a church, it is our duty to help out, to do what Jesus did when he walked this earth. So when I saw the theme as well, I thought that there could be something that I personally could do to help out or to say a kind word or distribute something, because people are in need. Jamaica is not rich. They have a lot of things that they need to work on. So the first step that we could take to transform the community, that's what this theme brought to me.
All right. So you said that Jamaica is not rich. Now while Jamaica is not rich for many people, Jamaica is not poor either. So the truth of the matter is that there is enough in Jamaica for us to use to transform the communities once we decide to collaborate our efforts.
Right.
So having listened to the fact that you have been intentional or you have been careful to consider the needs that are on the forefront to be addressed, I wonder how it is that or what really a community transform looks like for you. So you say you saw needs.
Yes.
What does the transformed community looks like?
All right. So as I look at the communities, yes, you see the needs, and yes, a community transformed looks a little different in the sense that you would see individuals having hope where there is no hope. No, as you look, you may say hopelessness, but as you begin to work and as you begin to impact, a change comes through. There is hope. As you impact individuals' lives, you see them having a brighter outlook on life. It can be as simple as giving somebody something to eat, and then that person moves from hunger to happiness. That's transformation. It could be as deep as helping somebody to learn a skill. So you're moving from hopelessness, where you have no outlook on life, to now you have a skill, you have confidence, you know are looking for a job, have prospects. And so ultimately, we want individuals to know Jesus Christ and to recognize that there is still hope in Jesus. You hear about the scamming, you hear about all these other nefarious activities, and to a great extent, some of them happen because people don't see any other alternative. So a community transformed is one that has good potential, that has good opportunities, that has good alternatives. And ultimately, a community transformed for me is a community that knows Jesus Christ. Not just know of him, but know him personally.
So yeah, thank you for that. We're gonna be listening to you as well, Shaniel and Mario. But I want to highlight the fact that Raymond said that a community transformed has social implications
Yeah.
as well as spiritual implications.
Correct.
So you spoke of a community in which people will feel empowered,
Yes.
so that they know that they add value to the society and that they can address their own needs. Thank you very much for
Sure.
that.
Well, what a community transform looks like for me, not just impacting people, but impacted people impacting people. So in the sense that people might have gotten something from us, right? And that might inspire them to help others too. And so bringing the cycle forward, like everybody helping each other and shining a light and letting Jesus be seen through the whole community. So something as simple as that could be what a community transform looks like for me.
And I echo what both have said. A community transformed for me is simply it not being the same it was. There has to be a difference in the community after it would have been transformed. So if there was a challenge of crime, once it is transformed, that would have gone down. If persons are unemployed, once it is transformed, persons will now have some form of employment. And the greater yet, once it is transformed, persons would have now given their lives to Jesus Christ.
Well, it seems like this community transform theme is here to stay with us.
Oh, yes.
Well, to be honest with you, Pastor Fletcher, I think that the church, youth ministries, is in the business of transforming community.
Yes.
So whether or not that was our theme today, whether or not it is the theme tomorrow, that is really our core business. So when we go into a community and when we have Pathfinder clubs and when we have the different programs, it is in an attempt to transform lives.
Right.
And I appreciate that plug you have given for Pathfinder Club and other youth ministries activities.
Sure.
For it is not just about helping young people to be a part of a club, to basically socialize with other young people. It is also providing opportunities for them to make a positive contribution to the community.
Yes.
And as I listened, I observed too that a community transformed is a community that provides for mutual flourishing of all, right? Social cohesion, where everybody is having the experience of improving their lives,
Right.
where you don't just desire a bigger slice of the pie, but that everybody contributes to the baking of a bigger pie,
Right.
so that when the pie is distributed equitably, then everybody will get a bigger slice of the pie.
Right.
And I heard Mario spoke about the implications of peacefulness. I wonder really what Jamaica would be like if we were a more peaceful society. I hope that as you engage in your communities, by God's grace, you will be able to realize the image of what a community transformed looks like for you.
right.
Now, having said all of that, tell us some of the activities that you have on the horizon for this year, 2025 Global Youth Day.
Okay, so in our district, the same Highgate district of churches, we will be having an impact on the Richmond community. That's where my church is. We will be going out and distributing tracts and care packages, and also having a street meeting in the morning, proclaiming Jesus and letting Jesus be seen. And we plan to have it in the morning before the conference impact.
Right. And to add to that also, we will be having a baptism on that very day. Just yesterday, my pastor went out and he came by the house and he said, we are slated to have at least 2 persons being baptized because they would have seen and heard of what the church is doing in the community. And we are also looking forward to the impact that it will not only have on the lives of those in the community, but on the lives of our young people within the district as we go to impact the Richmond community.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
Well, Shanil spoke about impacting the local communities in the morning. And so in the Northeast, We're encouraging our churches, or districts, pastoral districts, or federations to plan local district federation impacts in the morning. And then in the afternoon, starting 3 p.m., we're going to show up
Yes.
in Port Antonio. I didn't tell you about last year. We showed up in Port Maria. And this year, we're going to be showing up in Port Antonio, and we're going to be transforming that community. This year in Port Antonio, we're going to be visiting the infirmary. We're going to be visiting those who are in the hospitals. We're going to be taking care packages for them. We're also going to, there's a drug rehabilitation center in Port Antonio that we're also going to send a group there to visit. There are 2 communities right in Port Antonio town. There are 2 communities that we're going to be going into those communities, and we are going to be transforming them by giving care packages, by praying with the residents, by sharing books and other materials that we believe will not only transform them in the social realm, but also will help them to understand the spiritual realities. And for me, that is the ultimate transformation. In Port Antonio, we're going to also be doing a blood drive, where we invite individuals to give blood that in turn will help others later on. And so there are several activities. To close the day, Pastor Fletcher, we're going to have a grand, well, we say mini concert, but we're going to have a grand concert and street meeting right there in the town of Port Antonio. And so when we leave Port Antonio, there's only one thing that is going to be on the lips of the residents there, right? The activities and the goodness, the singing of the Seventh-day Adventists. And we hope that by engaging in these various activities in the town, in and around the town, that we will leave a lasting impression. And above that impression, we want individuals to know that Jesus cares for them and Jesus wants to transform each and every one of them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Now, as we consider to share in the joys of Global Youth Day 2025, as we seek to close out, share one exciting thing or share one word to motivate a young person to be involved.
Okay, so for Global Youth Day, it's not just about sharing the word with Jesus. It is also a blessing for you. Like, if you bless others, God in turn will bless you. It's not just about impacting others. And it's wonderful to go out there. You get a sense of good feeling. You have a bubbling inside you that you like to share with others. It's really good to go out and impact people. So that's why I would encourage every young person, every youth out there to go out and impact their community.
Impact others while Christ impacts you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, powerful, Pastor. That's the word I would use to encourage others. It's a life-changing experience. You can't go to a Global Youth Day and leave the same as how you came. It's impossible. Whether it's through the grand concert or mini concert, as Pastor would have said, whether it's experience like myself of donating blood and being afraid of needles, it's something that changes us for changing the life of somebody else.
The Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive. And I have always noted that when we take young people, and even myself, when we get involved in helping others, there's a feeling that and not the feeling that you've felt before, but there's a feeling deep within, a satisfaction that, hey, despite the fact that I may have my own struggles and problems, I just help somebody. And when you see that smile on the face, I think it does something for young people. And so, I would want to say to all of our youth, right across, not just Northeast, but right across Jamaica, that any and every opportunity that you have where you can impact somebody, do it. Because you never know what that impact will do. It may seem very small today, but tomorrow it could be something very big. And so, do whatever you can. I know there are individuals who have asked and who have called and said they don't have the resources and they don't have the care package and they don't have this and they don't have that. Don't allow that to stop you. If it is even to go into the community and pray for the individual, go and pray. That prayer can make a difference. And so whatever you can do it. And God, I'm sure God is going to bless it.
Yes.
Don't be distracted by what you can't do. Be motivated
by what you can do. Praise the Lord.
Thanks for being with us. I'm Dane Fletcher, Youth Ministries Director of the Jamaica Union Conference, and I've been with Pastor Raymond Douglas, Youth Ministries Director of the Northeast Jamaica Conference, with Shaniel Gordon and Maria Ormsby. We have been talking about the exciting participation of our youth being engaged for Global Youth Day. Go make an impact for Jesus, and for his glory, we hope to realize a community transformed. God bless you.